All right, let's talk about my Glock 19 and what I have on it. Okay, you guys get a Glock out of the box right away. Great gun. Really don't need to do anything to it. You could go to the show with that thing all day long, every day. Got no issues with that. But I want to show you some modifications that I've done to my gun, and because I've shot this gun a whole lot, these are some of the things that I found out over time that would make me a better shot. And when I'm talking about being a better shot, I want to have first shot success. I do not want to start emptying all 16 rounds in my Glock 19. I would like to take care of it with one shot. So how do we increase that probability? Well, first of all, I changed the sights. What I put on were XS big dot sights. And when I put them on, I took off the plastic sights that come with the Glock, and there are plenty of videos out there on YouTube. XS Big Dot has instructions if you buy their product. But put the front sight on, use some blue Loctite when you screw it on, and then when you put the rear sight in, there's a dovetail in there. You tap it in, and then there are two very, very small hex screws that go, and what they do is they just secure it to the base plate. They just provide that extra tension, and when they go down, they spread the base of that rear sight out so that it hooks onto the dovetail portion of the slide. And then I threw a whole bunch of Loctite down on the slide before I put the rear sight in so that it's not going to move. And obviously it lined everything up, make sure it was all good to go. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, then go to your local your pistol smith, and have him do it for you. But XS Big Dot sights is what I run, and then they have the Trinium inserts, because if I'm going to be doing night shooting or whatever, maybe it gives me an extra advantage. But here's the one thing I'll say about night sights: don't rely on them. You need to clearly identify your target before you're going to shoot it. So, the misnomer is, I'll be able to see my sights even though he can't see me. Well, if he can't see you, probably you can't see him either, and you probably ought not to take the shot. So not only do I put sights on, okay, but I put a grip force adapter on it, and this roll pin right here just comes out of you take the one out of your Glock, which this is a Gen 4 Glock, so the back strap, is interchangeable. Well, I just take that pin out, and I left the back strap the way it came, and then this adapter goes on, and then they provide you with a roll pin. You just punch it through, and it make sure it's even on both sides, and it's good to go. Now, what is this? Why this? Well, you ever heard guys talk about the slide on a Glock bits you? Okay, so you got your hand up real high, and then the meat in your hand right here, it kind of rolls over on this back part of the slide, and then when it runs through, you get cut a little bit, and you may bleed. Well, you take the same premise of that beaver tail in a 1911, and that's what Grip Force did here by taking this injected mold plastic and molding it such that there's a nice extension past the rear of the slide. So when I get a high tang grip, okay, as to quote the Magpul guys, a high grip on here, then my hand fat, which that's a muscle to me, don't make fun of my hand fat, but anyway, my hand fat doesn't come over there, and I don't get bit by my slide. And also I can get really high on the back of the gun in order to keep the recoil centered after every shot, and that's really important for follow-up shots and then when you're shooting fast. So that's really the only thing I've done. I mean, obviously it's been Cerakoted. That's an OD green Cerakote with a burnt bronze lower, and then the glockstore.com engraved my Second Amendment logo on the slide for me. But other than that, it's the same trigger that came with the gun in the box. I haven't done anything with the recoil spring. It's the same barrel. Everything else with the gun is the same. Same slide lock. Same everything on this thing. So all I did was change the sights out, and I put a Grip Force adapter on it, and that's what I do to my gun. Everything else runs the same. And then I run. What is this? I only run two different types. I'm just make sure this is the Hornady Tap ammo. It's 115. All my guns run 115 grain. Now there's 124, there's 147 out there. but I run 115 in mine. And if I'm not running Hornady Tap, then I run Corbon DPX. And the reason that I only go with those two types of game time ammo, what I call game time, for the real deal, is because of the quality control in the manufacturing process is so tight. And I want to make sure that, when it says 115 grains, it's not 115 and a half or 117 or 114 and 3/4, that it is 115 grain every time. And every shot, I can count on the same type of recoil. So when I'm doing follow-up shots or I'm shooting quickly, that everything that comes out of the gun is the same. And that's the problem that guys have when they start reloading their own ammunition or they buy reloads from somebody else. You can't guarantee that round is going to have the same powder, the same grains of powder every bullet. So you want to make sure that if you're going to go put your life on the line with it, that the manufacturer of that bullet that you're putting your life on the line with has the tightest quality control measures in it, so that it can ensure that bullet is going to do its job the way it's meant to do. So my Glock 19, only 2 modifications. The coloring is just aesthetics. And then I run Hornady Tap 115 or Corbon DPX 115 in my gun. And that's my Glock 19.